speaking for my family. Okay, we have had too much fun. Now let's get serious. Today's book review is a very good book. I handpicked it myself, and that is by C.S. Lewis. And we are gonna review some of his books in the series, the ones which are gonna be 2, 4, and we have already done 5. So there it is, the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And this one, it's a really good book. And there are 7 books, and we are going to do each one of them, not in order. Anyway, The Magician's Nephew, the first book in Chronicles of Narnia, was written years after the first book. But C.S. Lewis wanted it to be the first book. So that's why it's in the recommended order. The Magician's Nephew is the first book. Actually, it wasn't. Okay, he wanted it to be the first book. So this is like... it's such an uncorrected end, And in the second book, there is a whole new story started. And then once there were 4 children, there were 2 children in the first book. There was the White Witch in the first book. Okay, it was only a witch in the first book. Now it turned into a White Witch. And there were 4 children named Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. And these children, because of air raids in war, they were sent to an old professor's house, in the heart of the country and away from civilization. And there were many great things over there, like a museum. But they were bored, and it was such a big house. So many spare bedrooms. First was the thrilling business. They had a lot of things to amuse themselves. There was actually 10 minutes walk till breakfast table. So there was first a thrilling business of exploring the rooms, corridors, long hallways, and then most of them were spare bedrooms, and those were not any much fun. But then they found things, and then there was one room, and there was just one little cupboard, and it was just empty, except for the blue bottle on the windowsill. And they just, left. But Lucy was very curious, and she wanted to see what is inside. And she wanted to see inside what is inside this cupboard, this wardrobe. And then she goes into this wardrobe, and then there are many mothballs over here, and then after that she goes ahead, and then she finds that they're not on a wooden floor and mothballs crunching down, but there is something powdery and soft and extremely cold and something very hard and prickly, and that is a night scene near a lamppost, which is the world of Narnia. And this is the world in which she encounters. And then there is this faun coming, and his name is Mr. Tumnus, and he's guarding these parcels, and he is having a very nasty business, a horrid business, something which is very horrid. I'm going to tell you later on. He then takes Lucy to the cave, and then they have dinner, and that is a good model over here when you see this story. Then never accept lift from strangers, and that's what happens. They go, and then he learns her to sleep, and he is the kidnapper for the White Witch. Let me explain this. And then Mr. Tumnus tells about the White Witch, and she is holding Narnia spellbound for 100 years, and eternal winter, no summer, no nothing. That is how things are going in Narnia. And he is... Okay, let me explain this in just 1, 2, 3 words. The kidnapper for the White Witch. That means he's kidnapper. Any human being which is coming, he will be lulled to sleep by Mr. Tumnus, the faun, the kidnapper assigned by the White Witch, and then he'll take it to the White Witch, and something very dreadfully bad happens. I'm going to tell you later. Then she comes back and tells everyone, but of course, being the big siblings, they didn't, believe because being wise and old. They come subtle Professor Kirk, and he is this guy who is, the old professor, and he says that they're telling the truth. He gives this very complex reasoning that there might be 3 ways. That she might be mad, or she's telling the lies, or she is truthful. So, she's not mad, you just talk with a person, if she's mad or not. Then, if she is lying. By the way, Lucy is a very truthful girl, so that's not going to be any doubt on her being lying. So then, we must assume until any further evidence comes, she is telling the truth. But of course, they didn't believe him because he said until any further evidence. Okay, after the end of the conversation, Edmund also goes inside, who is the second youngest after Lucy. And then he meets the White Witch. And the White Witch, she tricks Edmund and bribes Edmund. And, it's like a bait to catch up with the others. And then, turn all of them into stone. And whoever goes in the palace doesn't come out because of they're all turned into stone. So then Lucy meets him and tells him about Mr. Tumnus the faun and all about the White Witch. But of course, he knew it that they were going to be fauns, and the White Witch told that they're fauns and they'll tell all about the White Witch wrong and this and that. So that's why he said, oh, fauns, they're just, no, don't trust them. Anyone knows it. And then, that's how their adventure ends. And then they tell the older Peter and Susan that they have been gone to Narnia, but Edmund did the most baddest, the horrible and the most horrid thing anybody ever had done. Saying that is just a lie. So then one day the McCarty is coming, and then she said that get out of the way, and she's the housekeeper. So then she was touring some people, and then they ran away and they went into the cupboard, because everywhere they went there was a bit knocking on the door. When they went inside, they went in the cupboard. Then after that they go to Tumnus the faun, but of course he wanted to go to the White Witch, Edmund of course, and he knew where it was, between two hills. So he wanted to tell them, but it was not so easy, because Lucy was the leader of the group. So then they went to Mr. Tumnus the faun, and then it was trashed, completely trashed, this down and this down and this down and everything down and this down like this. Okay, that's how Mr. Tumnus' house was at that time. It was a very bad day. And then there is this note written that this is Mr. Tumnus the faun has been arrested of being fraternizing with humans. Signed Morgan, captain of the secret police. Long live the queen. And that's, their adventure start. They find these beaver, and then they went to his house, his dam, beaver's dam. And that's where their adventures began. After their supper, Edmund is nowhere to be seen. And then Edmund, he is of course, you guess where he went. White Witch. Then he gets punished for not bringing his brothers along, and brother and sister along. So then, when he knows and he tells about Aslan, who is the lion, and all the stone table, that when they reach your ruling will be finished. You know what's going to happen. Then she just goes on and she readies her horse, reindeers. So then after that, she goes, and now she sets out an expedition to stop them from reaching the stone table before and off they went. They reach the stone table before they do, and they are presented gifts on the way, and you know what happened. And then summer was about to come again, grass and green dew, because it was now not snowing in every part of Narnia. And they're giving gifts. Peter, he is of course, he's given this sword and with this cool red lion shield upon it, and that comes handy in many ways. Susan is given an arrow, which is bow and arrows and quivers, and these those things on archery. And then Lucy is given something else. She is given this cordial, this glass which is of diamond. It actually looked like glass, but it was made out of diamond. And that was the juice of the fire flower. A few drops would cure any wound, and then one dagger. Okay, and then of course battles are ugly affairs. So it was only used in desperate times. So then they reach the stone table and everything, it is, settled, and they name it Aslan. And then he demands a meeting with the White Witch to hand over Edmund, but to sacrifice himself. So that's what exactly happens. And by the way, Aslan is very confident that on the stone table, no innocent blood will be spilled. So whoever is, innocent blood is spilled on the stone table, he will be, of course, resurrected. And, that's why he's confident and he'll give himself up. As long as he is innocent and does not do any guilt. Then he gives himself up for the White Witch. And then, Susan and Lucy think that he's going to do something awful, and they follow him. And then they see that there are these all poisonous plants and hags and werewolves and many other creatures that you never imagined. And then there was the White Witch. And then of course, I don't want to tell you, it's really super sad. And then first they shaved off his hair, tied him to the cords, and then they started beating and spitting and throwing and doing anything they want. And then the White Witch, she kills Aslan, and then they see Aslan lying on the stone table, and then there's these mouses. These were these 12 mouses and one other leader. His name is Reapy Cheap, and he will gain fame. And in the 5th book, Rise of the Dawn Treader, you might have remembered Reapy Cheap, and he'll also come in the next 4th book in the Chronicles of Narnia too. So in the 4th book, he will come. His name is Reapy Cheap, and he's this mouse. That's very funny. A big sense of humor he has. So then they, tie the cords. They just cut the cords like this into little pieces. And then they see Aslan, who is alive. And then they go, he was resurrected out of nothing. Like nothing happened, they were just turned around and then no Aslan on the table. Like this what happened. And then all the other animals with the witch turned into stone who tried to stop them. Then if he breathes on those animals, then of course they'll come back. It's like some magical property they have. So then blow a few quick blows actually on all the animals, and then it's done. They're all turned back. And then when the battle is finished, they give the juice of the fly flower to every wounded person on their side. And then of course they win the battle. The White Witch is dead, and there's the happy ending coming. There was a feast, and they were made kings and queens, and then there was peace in all Narnia. Sometimes before all the everything was, so there were some rumors of this haunting in the house and murdering, a glimpse of a werewolf, and then some hags over there 1 month. So that's why there was still some trouble, some corruption in Narnia. But then all the evil was stamped out in just some. In a jiffy, it was all stamped out. But then there was this great feast, and they were all kings and queens. And then what happened? Aslan quietly slipped away because he had many other things to attend. So he won't, just stay over there for every day. So then after that, there's this old Lily Groves, this chief of the moles, who plants this apple tree. And he doesn't plan to slap up against the gate as they think in the next book. In the 4th book, Prince Caspian. So he just plants up and he says, one day you will be very proud of this orchard. And guess what? He was very right. Then, after that, they were like many years passed and they got grown up. And then after that, they blundered again into England. And everything, they were just Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy in just their ordinary clothes and just at their same normal age. And that's how the story ends. And by the way, they borrowed Professor Kirk's winter coats. And Professor Kirk he said that, you won't go back to Narnia. Instead of saying that, don't tell lies and don't be silly. He said, don't go back to Narnia. It will take a lot of time. And by the way, once a king or queen in Narnia, always a king and queen in Narnia. But if you see the other book, Prince Caspian, it's going to be a bit wrong. So, here's the end. I announce sadly. And this is all for today. And if you want to see more videos, go to my website zidanehamid.com or even log to my Facebook page. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll wait for your feedback. Allah Hafiz.